Welcome, everyone. Thanks for attending class today. So let's close the eyes and we'll get started. So take in full deep breaths and just allow yourself to be here with your breath, just enjoying this time that you've carved out for yourself. And today we'll move through our practice, focusing on the rhythm of our breath, as we usually do. And we'll talk a little bit about the energy body, what they call in the yogic philosophy, they call us prana maya kosha. Prana, you may hear the word prana quite often. Prana is the vital life energy that moves through you. It's the energy that rides your breath and animates the body. It's what allows the body to move. Now, the more prana you bring in, the more efficient that your breathing is, the more energy you have to use for the movements of your postures, for everything in life. But for today, we'll talk about it, how it applies to your yoga practice. So when you take in this prana and you allow for the body to have the energy to move, and you create this heat by the pumping action, the rhythmic action of the blood flow and the muscles contracting and releasing, and it creates the internal heat that we talk a lot about in the practice to help burn away stagnant energies. So we'll talk a little bit about the structure of the energy body today throughout the practice. And all you really need to do, the only thing you need to focus on is how smooth is your breath? How deep is your breath? Even if you're moving and working in a way that may be a little challenging, are you able to still maintain an even flow to your breath? Let's draw the palms to touch. Let the thumbs rest against the heart center and bow the chin toward the throat. And take a moment here, absorbing in the rhythm of your breath. And then very gently begin to blink open your eyes, taking in the mat, the floor, and then gradually the whole room as the head floats up. Now, big breath in, hands down, around and up. Exhale, let's twist to the right. Inhale, arms back up overhead. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the right. Big breath in, arms up overhead. And exhale, twist left. Inhale, arms back up overhead. Exhale, hands to either side of your hips. And we switch the crossing of the legs. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold it forward. Walk your hands forward. Ground into the sitting bones. Lengthen ribs away from hips. And then maybe you slide the hands out even further. Go as long as you can without letting your seat lift. And then let the forearms settle onto the floor. Let your forehead maybe touch the floor. Either way, just let the chin come down towards your throat. If you don't touch the floor, it's okay. Just let the head relax. Just surrender into it. Let everything just be. So there's so many times in life that we don't really let ourselves just go and just be. And while we want this energy flow to move through us, there's a balance of the energy that we really want to consider. And that is the active and the passive energy that moves through us. So just allow for passive sensation here, for the energy of yin to just be here, moving through you. And then let's walk the hands in just a little bit, maybe one handprint or so, and take a little walk over to the right. Press into the left sitting bone and feel the whole left side body get nice and long. Now commit to the right hand and open up and reach overhead with the left. Now I know your arm is a little bit forward, and that's okay. Just feel the right arm is a little more forward than it might be when we just do the side bends, but that's okay. Just see if you can really focus on the length through the left side body. Really get into that left side body, but lengthen out of the right ribs as well. So don't collapse into the right hip. That won't feel so good. And then we'll release the left hand back down to the floor. We'll walk through center. And this time we'll come over to the left. So we're lengthening over the left leg. We're committing to the left hand and opening up right hand and reach it over your head. And again, we keep planting into that right sitting bone and lengthen, lengthen, lengthen through both sides of your body. Again, we don't want to bow out on the right ribs and compress the lower left ribs. Keep lengthen out and soften the right ribs inward, and that will help extend the left. And then we'll release the right hand to the floor, back to center, and let's roll over the legs to hands and knees, or legs off to one side. And we find our neutral cat position. And then right from here, let's sit back onto our heels and find puppy dog. So a little mini down dog here. So get extension. So this is active. Yes, we want to feel the activeness, but not tension. So the energy within us is always a balance of active and passive energy. So if we go too far to one end of the spectrum, we're not going to be balanced. We don't want to be collapsing here, and we don't want to be locking our elbows and locking out our fingers and feeling all this too much active energy. So can you soften your face and shoulders? Can you deepen through your hip creases and draw your navel in and up slightly as you lengthen your sternum away from the navel? So there's length, there's action from the muscles, active energy, but not overactive energy. And then right from here, we'll come up onto hands and knees, step one foot back, then the other, little mini plank we come to, and then lift into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So your body will tell you, and it's actually your energy body that's giving you these little hints here. When you're working too hard, or we're not working enough, you'll notice it. You'll get very sleepy if you're not working enough. Your mind will wander out off of your mat and out to other things because you're just not engaged. And if you're too engaged, you'll start to feel a little anxious perhaps. So we want to pay attention to how we feel throughout our practice, and that will help us know if we're giving it too much energy or not enough. So breathe and find the length of your spine, but let the head be relaxed, the neck be relaxed. Come up high on the toes, lift the heels really high, and then soften them back down. Just getting into the toes a little bit, maybe you feel a little pop, pop, pop of the toes. And then right from there, we'll just walk hands and feet toward one another, nice and slow. No rush, just walk them forward. Once we get toward the front of our mat, fingertips to floor or hands to shins for prepare pose. Exhale, fold forward. Let the head go and maybe move the head yes and no. Nice and easy. So we're not shaking the head, we're just moving it gently. Inhale, fingertips to floor or hands to shins, prepare pose. Exhale and fold. Again, just like that, inhale, prepare. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward bend. Navel in and up, arms come around and up, palms touch. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, hands down, around and up. Exhale, dive it out. Inhale, fingertips to floor or hands to shins, prepare pose. Exhale, left foot steps straight back behind you. Pause here in your low lunge. We're pressing through the right shin and pressing through the left heel and finding all that length through our torso. So there's power here, but not overly done. We're not locking out our jaw, jamming into our elbows. Press through the back heel, but also press through the front shin in opposition, as I said, because that's going to balance out your energy. Feel all that power. Now, with all that length in your spine, keep the left hand on the floor or a block. Exhale, reach the right hand to the ceiling. Get that twist. So neutralizing the spine, neutralizing the energy. We find that nice twist as we wring out the body. And we'll release that left hand to the floor. Back foot meets front foot. Inhale, prepare pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, fingertips to the floor, hands to shins, prepare. Exhale, right foot steps straight back behind you. We're in low lunge again. We press the back heel toward the floor, and we press the left shin toward the front of the room. But again, we're not leaning on that thigh, right? We're using core strength and we're lengthening our sternum away from our navel, so get a lot of length there. If you feel a lot of action going on in your front thigh, like too much weight there, then you're not using the back leg enough. So shift the weight back a little bit more and the sternum a little more forward. Then commit to the right hand with all that length. Exhale, reach the right hand to the ceiling. And then maybe your hand stays on your lower back and you just work with the rib cage. If the shoulder gets in the way of you twisting, meaning that you put all your attention there, then just twist from the side body and forget about the shoulder. Release the left hand to the floor. Back foot meets the front foot again. Fingertips to the floor, hands to shins. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, sweep it up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Feel power in your thighs. Lengthen through the chest, tailbone to floor. Feel power, feel stability. Feel strength in your core. Straighten the legs and dive it out. Inhale, fingertips to the floor, hands to shins, prepare. Exhale, hands to the floor and step it back to plank pose. Step it back to plank. Now you press through the heels, lengthen the sternum away from the navel, find your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, we float it again, plank. And exhale, down dog. One more time, plank pose. And exhale, down dog. Now from here, inhale, lift the right leg straight back behind you. Lift it as high as you can. Exhale, draw the right knee in toward your belly. Keep the chest long and lengthening the sternum from the navel. Your next inhale, take that leg straight back, maybe lift it really high, maybe not too high, but see if you can lift it nice and high as your body lets. And exhale, right knee, right tricep elbow. Inhale, extend it straight back again, lift it nice and high. Exhale, cross it over toward the left, the left elbow. Inhale, extend it straight back. And then once again, knee toward the belly, and then place right foot between the hands. Help it up if you need to. Take hold behind the calf and help it up if you need to. Keep pressing through the left heel, press through the right shin, lengthen your center chest away from navel, and inhale the arms up to high lunge, Alana. So can you feel the balance of sinking into the hips, but powerful legs and light torso? So working but not overworking. That's what's really important here. Now feel the power of your legs. It's going to help you stay stable, and then pivot your back foot. So pinky toe is parallel to the back of the mat and open it up into Warrior Two. Nice and grounded and the stability is what we're looking for here. And find softness as you sink through the hips the same way. Tailbone is long to the floor, but lifting and finding lightness through the torso. Now straighten your front leg. Reach it forward with the right fingertips. It's gentle, long side body. And whenever you allow it, whenever you're ready to, you just bring the hand to the shin or the thigh, and then the left arm comes up toward the ceiling. Now be mindful here. First, start from the ground up, right? So pressing into the triangle of your feet, big toe, pinky toe, and heel of both feet, particularly the pinky toe side of the back foot. Direct your tailbone toward your back heel and feel your lower abdominals get a little bit engaged. There should be space in your lower back. And then lengthen your ribs away from your hips. Feel how your torso lengthens, sternum away from navel, get really long through your torso. Direct it toward the right side of the room. So there's a lot going on in this pose. Bend through the right knee. Use core strength to come back upright, Warrior Two. Hands frame your front foot. Pivot on your back foot. You're back to that low lunge. Release the hands to the floor. Step it back to plank pose. Now your choice here. Holding plank pose, or any of you who want to take vinyasa, lowering down to your belly, coming into your baby cobra. You can do that, or you can just hold your plank and then move into your downward facing dog. You want a more easeful practice today. Vinyasa is always welcome for more heat. So just allow the body to move in the way that you need it to today. Just turning around so that I'll be facing you when I do the other side. And then right from here, let's extend the left foot straight back behind us. Lift it as high as you can. And exhale, left knee toward the belly. Inhale, extend it straight back, lift nice and high. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, tricep. Inhale, straight back, lift nice and high. Exhale, cross it over toward the right side of your body. Inhale, send it straight back. Exhale, knee toward the belly, and place left foot between the hands, low lunge. Set it up, lengthen, navel in and up. Find your way to your high lunge. Stability, shoulders right over the hips. That'll help you find ease and a fluid motion into our poses. Pivot your back foot and open up, warrior two. So as you find the steadiness and the groundedness, can you still lift through your body, through the torso? Straighten your front leg. The feet are anchored. We reach forward with the left fingertips, long side bodies. Hand to shin or thigh. Right arm to the ceiling. Tailbone toward back heel. Sternum away from navel. So it's easeful. A lot going on, but it's easeful, spacious movements. When you do this, you're allowing for that energy to flow through prana, maya, kosha. One of the main nadis where the prana moves through is called Sushumna nadi. It runs through your spine. So when you're lengthening your spine in this way, you're allowing a free flow of energy from the base of your body right to the crown of your head, and that moves through your whole body. The circulating breath, we have a circulating prana within us that moves it all through our body. Bend through the front knee, come on back, warrior two. Hands frame front foot, pivot on the back foot, step it back to plank, your choice, vinyasa, or maybe you come to down dog, or maybe you come to child's pose. Listen to your body and what energy you need today. And then pause in your down dog or your child's pose. So what happens here is we allow for the energy to move through us, through as we're moving. And then when we hold a resting pose, whether it be your down dog or whether it be your child's pose. So down dog is a resting pose in the sense of resting the nervous system, resting in that sense, not necessarily the muscles. There's a lot going on in down dog. Child's pose is your resting pose. Down dog is like, okay, I have a moment to just figure out my rhythm of breath here. So we can do that. And then notice if you feel this balance of active and passive energy moving through you, or do you feel a little anxious, too much active energy? Feel a little bit distracted, maybe too much passive energy. So more vinyasas, more active. Less vinyasas, a little more passive. See how that affects you, what's needed. Now, if you're not already, let's meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or lightly hop the feet forward. Inhale, fingertips to the floor, hands to shins, prepare pose. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees, sweep the arms up, Utkatasana, chair pose. Hold for a moment here. Feel that lift, feel that space. Now, grounding into your right foot. Step the left foot straight back behind you, toes facing toward left front corner of the mat. Warrior one. Now breathe and find space and open. And your warrior one is so the standing poses overall are very anchoring, grounding, but very active. And then right from here, it's interlace the hands behind the back. You have a couple options. You can do it just like this. You can hold each elbow. You can come to reverse namaste, reverse prayer pose, whatever you prefer. Turn your torso over toward the right leg. So make sure the leg is straight. So press into the triangle of your front foot. And again, it can be prayer pose. Well, reverse namaste, really more accurate. Holding each elbow or even interlacing the hands. Lengthen sternum away from the navel. Deepen through the right hip crease and fold forward over your right leg. Let the head go. Now, if you have your fingers interlaced, you can lift the arms away from the back body, or they can just stay down, depending on what's going on for your body. Some days you might want to open a little bit more, and some days maybe not. And maybe you don't like the hands behind your back. If that's the case, bring them down to the floor, or if you have blocks, you can frame your front foot for Parsvottanasana. As you lengthen from here, you want to keep slightly deepening through the right hip crease and lengthening through the whole front of your body, sternum away from navel. And as you fold, now you have more of a balance of energy. So you have the active energy of the standing poses and then the passive energy of the forward fold over your leg. And you're allowing for the energy that moves through the nadis to move through your chakras. So the nadis and the chakras live in the energy body. This is where our emotions reside. Everything that we feel, believe it or not, happens in the physical body. Soften. And then right from here, I'd like you to pivot on your back foot and step it back so you're in that low lunge again. A couple options here. You can keep the back leg lifted, or you can release the back knee down onto the mat. Either way, we'll bring our hands to our heart center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left elbow outside of right thigh. So your back leg is lifted or it's not. Now, maybe your elbow comes to the outside of the left elbow. Maybe it doesn't. See if you can lengthen your torso and lean your back body away from you toward the left side of the room. And then see if you can still reach your elbow there, because you don't want to jam into your elbow. You want to feel the side body working. So how much energy can you put into this twist without it being overdone? You need to help yourself find ease as well, not just pushing for the deepest pose. Find ease within the strength. One more breath here. Release the hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog, or if you had your knee down, come back to child's pose. If you're in down dog, you can float to plank and take vinyasa. Lowering down, chaturanga, to your belly or not. Inhale to your baby cobra or your upward facing dog, whatever you prefer. Always choose what feels like the right choice for you today, not what you think you should do, or because that's why I give you these options as options. There's no, and I don't even do them all the time, because this way you're not going to feel obligated to do it. You know, if you have a tendency to say, oh, I think I should do everything. That no, you do what feels right for you and what allows your energy to be more balanced. Take another breath here. Big breath in. We'll all meet in downward facing dog if not already there. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or lightly hop the feet forward. Inhale, prepare pose. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, sweep it up, Utkatasana, chair pose. Really firm through the left foot, ground it into the mat, and then send the right foot straight back, toes face toward right front corner of the mat. You're in Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. And notice the pulsation. If the energy is moving through you, you might feel if your hands are reaching up toward the ceiling and facing one another, you might feel the surge of energy between your hands and in your palms, like a tingling or a vibration in your hands. That could happen sometimes. And if you pay attention to it, you're like, oh yeah, I feel that. And maybe you don't, and that's okay. Breathe and find your space, and then whatever arm position you prefer. Hands behind the back, interlaced, holding each elbow, reverse namaste. Wherever you're gonna go. Slightly turn your torso over toward the left leg, straighten the leg by pressing into all four, well, actually the triangle, I like to say, of the foot. Big toe mound, heel, big toe mound, pinky toe mound, and heel, and then fold over the left leg. And you're not just letting your whole body just round into it. You want to extend, keep deepening through left hip crease and extend your spine, and then drape over the left leg. So it's an extension and then it's flexion. You want to surrender into it. And the arms can, if they're interlaced, you can lift them high or leave them on your lower back. Whatever you'd like to do today is fine. Just be with whatever you need to be with. And find that stability and that power. And again, maybe you want your hands on the floor. Maybe it feels better to have a little more stability there. That's okay. And then right from here, We'll pivot on the back foot, step it back a little bit more so you're in that low lunge. And again, keep the back knee lifted or release it down onto the mat. That's fine. Hands at heart center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist from the navel and allow the right elbow to move on top of or on the outside of the left thigh. So we still want to lengthen our tailbone toward the floor here and lengthen our sternum away from the navel to get more length through our torso so we can pivot a little bit more and not move from the shoulder or the lower back, but only from the mid-body. And feel that action there, moving from center. And back knee down doesn't make it any less of a pose. It just makes it maybe a little more stable and maybe even a deeper twist. The back leg makes it a stronger pose. And then we'll release the hands to the floor. Step back to plank, take vinyasa or down dog we hold or child's pose. And breathe here. So what does that breath feel like? What does that energy pulsating through you feel like? This is the energy body. Communicating with the physical body. And then let's all come onto hands and knees. So a little bit of opening for the spine here. Extend the right leg straight back behind you. And we'll just begin by finding a spinal balance. So by lifting the right leg even with your hip, you can even take a peek back and make sure the toes are facing toward the floor, that your leg is even with your hip, and extending the right arm forward. Now you may stay right here. Maybe you even need to keep the left arm forward. Sorry, right leg is back and left arm is forward. Maybe you stay right here and just keep the leg lifted and you keep the left hand on the floor. Or maybe you reach forward, you're in spinal balance. You stay here, or you can move into a cat-cow. Big breath, we lengthen. Exhale, knee and elbow meet, round the spine. Tuck the chin slightly inward toward your throat. Inhale, extend it out. Lengthen, lift the sternum away from the navel. Come into a little cow position. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale and round. Inhale, extend. Release the hand and release the knee and reestablish where you're at here. And before we move on to the other side, let's inhale, lengthen the sternum away from the navel. And then exhale, tilt your right hip forward towards your right ear and gaze back at your right hip. Stretch through the left side of your body. Back to center. Inhale, sternum away from navel, navel in and up. Exhale, left hip toward the front, toward the left shoulder. Gaze back at the left hip. And back to neutral. Extend the left leg straight back behind you. Press through the heel. If you're feeling a lot of weight in your heel, the heel of your hand, shift your weight into the pads of the fingers more. You're leaning too far into the front of the back of your hand and affecting the wrists. Navel in and up. Lift the left leg. Take a peek back, and then extend the right arm. Stay here, or keep the right arm on the floor, or inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hand and release the knee. Down dog, vinyasa, last vinyasa, or child's pose. Maybe bring the hands by your side for this child's pose and let everything go. All right. So for our hip opener today, we'll come into pigeon pose. So I will give some modifications for it as well. This is an open flow, but I want to give modification in case anybody needs them or just wants to take them today. So let's all come to downward facing dog. And from your down dog, extend the right leg straight back behind you. Point the toe, open the hip, bend the knee. Square off your hips, draw the knee toward the abdominals, and place the right knee behind the right wrist. If you know you're tight, though, drop right onto the right hip and bend through the back knee, and you come into pigeon that way. If you're not, you keep that left hip, right hip lifted. Make sure that the left leg is hip, knee, ankle alignment, and slide it straight back behind you. And then you can bring the forearms down onto the floor. Your forehead can touch the floor. If you have a block or a blanket, your forehead can rest on it. Now, if you're in the full expression of pigeon, you want to draw the right hip back and up, left hip forward and down to get deep into those hips. If you find you have any sensation at all in your knee or it's too deep in your hip, then immediately drop down onto the right sitting bone and bend through the left knee and come into pigeon this way. So this is a nice way to modify it. You're still getting the hip opener without creating any issue for your knee. So you can be here and allow yourself to just be in the pose the way you need to be. So let's just breathe here for a moment and just notice the breath, because here is where you're allowing the prana to enter into the nostrils, and it's affecting both of the nadis. We have a passive energy nadi and an active energy nadi. Ida and Pingala. Ida is what's called Chandra nadi, or moon energy. And Pingala is your Surya nadi, or sun energy. And I won't get into a great amount of detail today, and I'll say that for another day. But just know that when you're breathing in, you are actually breathing in active and passive energy, and it's going within you. So you have these two energies that create balance within you. So sometimes they get a little unbalanced depending on how much active energy we've taken in, how much passive energy we've taken in, and we need to balance it out. So your physical practice can help balance that. As I said before, if you feel too anxious, you feel like this surge of energy, then you take a more passive practice that day, and vice versa. So that we always pay attention to what is the type of energy that's in our energy field, in our energy body, so that our physical body can feel its best. Our physical body is directly affected by the energy body and what the quality of that energy is. Take another breath here, then walk your hands in toward the body. Tuck the left toes into the mat. And you can either come straight back to all fours and come to child's pose or down dog, or you can tuck the left toes into the mat and step it straight back, downward facing dog. You can even lift up the right leg a bit and just kind of move it around if you'd like. Whatever you prefer. And find your balance in your downward facing dog. Other side, extend the left leg straight back. Point the toe, open the hip, bend the knee. Square off the hips, knee toward the abdominals, and place left knee behind left wrist. Every side is different, so pay attention to how you feel here. Take a peek back, right leg, hip, knee, ankle alignment, slide it back. And then maybe your forearms come down onto the floor. Remember, if it's too much, drop onto the left hip and bend through the right knee and be in your pigeon this way. So we only drop onto the hip or the sitting bone if we're modifying it. If you're in the full expression, you do not want to do that. You want your hips to be squared. That's how you'll get into the proper muscles. This pose really gets you into the external rotator, so you should feel a lot right now on the outside of the left hip. Lengthen and then surrender, and I'll just ask you to be with your breath and poke around within you and see what the energy feels like. And can you see if perhaps it's balanced between active and passive? And then take a full breath in and soft breath out. Breathe full, and when you breathe in, draw it to a place where there's tightness or tension. And when you breathe out, let some of that go. Release it. And then take your time. Find your way into your down dog or your child's pose. Walk the hands in towards your body. You can tuck the left toes and you come straight to down dog, or just come right into your child's pose. And sit back, or again, down dog if you want. Just hold wherever you want to hold. And just move into that passive energy that hopefully you started to cultivate as you held pigeon. Yes, it's a lot of sensation, especially if you're tight in your hips. But there is a passive quality to the forward folding action of that hip open, of getting deeper into a muscle where we hold a lot of muck, a lot of tightness, a lot of emotion, and we can just let that be washed out. And then let's all meet seated. So if you're in child's pose, hips to one side. If you're in down dog, you can hop or walk your feet forward and come to a seated position. And just close the eyes for a moment here. The hands resting on your thighs, palms facing down for grounding, up for more divine energy moving into you. And just take a moment here. Notice the energy body feeding the physical body. Do you feel that slight pulsation? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's okay. Just know the prana can manifest itself, and it can show you itself through a very gentle vibration within you, or tingling sensation, warmth or coolness. That's energy, and we're energy beings. And then gently blink open your eyes, and let's extend the legs straight out in front of you. Shake them out. Begin to flex the feet first. Inhale the arms up overhead. And then exhale, reach forward for the toes, ankles, or shins. Once you reach, let the feet relax. Lengthen the sternum and the crown of your head way towards your toes. And once you've done that, then you can fold forward. Let the feet relax. So let it be more yin here. So more of a passive energy here. Letting there be this releasing quality of any tightness or tension you may be holding in the body. Big breath in, soft releasing breath out. Go a little bit deeper if you can, whether that means going deeper within the postures or going deeper within yourself. And then we'll walk the hands in towards your body. Come to an upright position. Take the legs wide. Start with your left hand in center space, right hand behind the back. Press into the fingertips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, and twist the navel toward the right side of the room. So we're using the mid body to get that nice ringing action going on there, not jamming into the shoulders. The feet start off flex, and then we can let them relax a little bit. So we just can let the more of a passive flow of energy move through us. Again, noticing how that feels, knowing that the energy body, prana, maya, kosha, is what they call a sheath or a coating. It's just one of our layers, one of our many layers. And when we take care of this layer, we're a little bit more balanced in our physical body. Come back to center. Bring the right hand in center space, left hand behind the back, diagonal with the left hip. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist to the left. So we want to allow ourselves this opportunity for that merging, to feel the energy moving into the physical body, because then we'll know. We know if we are breathing efficiently, if we're allowing for the flow of prana to move through our chakras. Sometimes a stagnant place in the body is the stagnant energy is coming from a blockage in a chakra. So if we take the prana and we breathe to it, we can start to break up that stagnant energy. And then the physical body feels better. Many, many, many times, if not all the time, when you have a pain in the body, there is a disruption in the energy field that's affecting that body part. Come back to neutral, hands in the center space. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fall from the hip crease. So we're not rounding from our waist. We're extending our forehead as far forward as it will go. We're lengthening through our spine. Feel the action happening right at the place where the hip and the thigh, the top of the thigh meet. We fold forward, and then we can bring our forearms onto the floor if that's appropriate, forehead onto the floor, or maybe not at all. Maybe the arms are lifted. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Let the feet relax. Let the spine first extend and then surrender, then round. Breathe into it. Soften into it. And see if you can direct the prana into the tight areas to break up anything stagnant that may be emotional. Take another full breath in and out. Walk the hands in towards your body when you are ready. Help the legs toward one another. Place both feet flat on the mat and roll it down one vertebra at a time, nice and slow. And then just pause there with your feet on the mat, knees up toward the ceiling, arms by your sides, palms facing up or down. Pause just for a moment here. And just notice from that forward fold, from the seated poses that we did, they were very passive. There was a lot of passive energy. How do you feel? Did it wash over you? Did it feel like it was almost a cleanse? And maybe not. Maybe it was anxiety provoking. Maybe it was peaceful. It's okay, whatever it was. Just acknowledge it and be with it. And then hug the knees in towards your chest when you're ready and rock it side to side. Lift up the legs, take hold of the ankles or pinky toe side of the feet. And we want to come to our happy baby. Rock it side to side. All right, from here, cross the right knee on top of the left. And then maybe you're going to hold on to the ankles or the side of the feet, as long as you can keep the feet flexed for a reclined Gomukhasana. And if you need to bring your legs down toward the floor, that's going to make it less sensation. When the shins are parallel to the floor, pretty deep. And I'd like you to do something a little bit different here. So rather than drawing the legs in, I'd like you to hold on to your feet and then just rock your torso very slowly side to side until you feel a really deep sensation, but one that's tolerable. So not one that is like, oh my God, this is too deep. But one day you say, like, I have to go here to lessen that sensation. So I have to go off to the side a little bit off, or I have to center it, or I go off to the other side. So it's okay to be wherever you need to be. Just see if you can get a little deeper. We don't have to work symmetrically, especially when our back is supported, because our hips are not symmetric. So you may want to get a little deeper into one place to help you find balance. So as long as your back is on the mat and you're supported and you start to shift around a little bit, it's just a nice way to get a little more openness there. So breathe into it wherever that extra movement needs to be, that extra sensation is. And then if you were a little bit out of alignment, come back to center, unravel the legs, hug them in, lift them straight up toward the ceiling. Just get a little bit of openness there, but maybe tap, tap, tap. If you're not really deep, you might need to get a little movement in your thighs. And then come back to happy baby. And this time cross the left knee over the right, holding on to pinky toe side of the feet again, or ankles. And then again, maybe the shins are down on an angle toward the floor. Maybe they're parallel to the floor. And you can shift again, side to side. Find the place where you feel the most sensation. Again, we want it to be bearable sensation. We don't want it to be when we can't even breathe. But you find a place where it's like, okay, this feels good to be here. One more breath. Unravel the legs, extend them straight up toward the ceiling. Then we'll hug them in toward our chest, squeeze them in. Release the feet onto the mat as wide as the mat. And just a few times, just windshield wiper the legs from side to side. And it can be on the breath. It can be you go to one side, hold, and then the other side. Listen to your body. So do what your body needs. Your practice. It's always your practice, but particularly now, your home and your own space. Embrace that. Embrace the fact that you can do whatever you want, whatever feels good for you. And yes, I can be here to guide you, but ultimately, you are the best teacher. You know what you need. So just be mindful with it. Make sure you don't push yourself to a place where you feel pain. You never want to feel pain in yoga. Always working to our edge, but with an easeful amount of strength, easeful amount of sensation, but yet strong sensation. And then whenever you've completed however many windshield wipers you'd like to do, then you come back to whatever is comfortable for you. Maybe your feet stay wide and your knees dip in slightly toward one another for your Shavasana. Maybe your legs extend onto the mat, flat onto the mat. That's good too. And surrender here for that place of softness throughout your whole body. Take in a full, deep breath here. Bringing awareness to the energy moving through you. Again, when you feel that pulsation, whatever you're noticing, That's your energy body. Although you may feel it in your physical body, it's the energy body that interpenetrates the physical. So we feel the effects of the energy body in our physical body. So notice that. And notice the energy of the room you're in surrounding you. Notice the surface you're lying on and how that feels against your body. And then take your time, start to invite some gentle movements into your body, wiggling fingers and toes. And then hug the knees in towards your chest. And roll over onto your right side when ready. Settle in for a moment. Then resist the temptation to open the eyes and bring yourself back to a comfortable seated position. Let's draw the palms to touch, thumbs rest by heart center as you bow the chin toward the throat. And I thank you so much for your hard work, your dedication, and for sharing your practice with me. It was truly my honor to teach you. Namaste.